Conductor is an action-adventure puzzle game. It's available for the HTC Vive and the Oculus Rift for about $9 US. Here's my review of it in its current state as of May 2017. We'll begin with the story. Without giving too much away, you take the role of an escapee on a railroad to freedom. Throughout your journey you'll encounter various obstacles requiring a bit of puzzle solving before you can get underway again. I personally found the story to be somewhat thin on the ground, and there were some things I felt were communicated quite clumsily, such as who exactly I was. But overall, it does the job, and the game world is certainly not without personality. I will say though, some may find the ending a bit abrupt. On to gameplay. The game is divided into driving your train, puzzle solving, and the occasional combat encounter. Operating the train requires constant attention, providing a fun little workflow to break up the long sections of track. The overall feel of the train, however, is very toy-like, with no real sense of momentum or inertia, though granted I'm something of a critic on matters of physics. As someone fairly new to puzzle games, I found they drew a nice balance between difficulty and reward. Now, while I enjoyed the largely organic feel of the puzzles, there are certainly a few someone put that up there just to fuck with me moments. The combat is barely worth mentioning. It functions as more of an annoyance than a danger. While we're on gameplay, I did find object collisions to be sometimes a bit weird and inconsistent. And there's also this bug with the conductor's hat. More of a laugh than an annoyance. That leads us to weapons. Your sole weapon, or more so a tool, is your gravity gun. Half-Life fans will need little introduction. It is basically able to push, pull, and throw objects. Though I found it a bit clunky to use at first, once I got the hang of it, using it became quite fluid and intuitive. Now for music. Your train comes equipped with a neat little onboard radio, providing a small collection of background tunes. The music melds nicely into the atmosphere of the game and offers a good amount of variety for a roughly 2-hour experience. Sound in this title is employed with a certain subtlety and restraint that, when combined with the game's use of stark lighting, excels at building an overall feeling of tension and unease. Really well done. On to locomotion. The game uses teleportation, and while I'm always going to be an advocate for the option of smooth motion, it didn't really bother me all that much here. Had the combat offered any sort of challenge, I'd likely have some stronger things to say on the matter. The graphics in this game are consistent, relatively polished, and while I wouldn't necessarily describe them as gorgeous, they certainly remain true to their own art style. I liked them. I noticed no hiccups in performance on my 1070 or any crashes. As far as graphic options go, the game lets you toggle shadows on and off and that's it. If nothing else, I'd personally like to see more games include an option for super sampling. That leaves us with the verdict. For about 2 hours of gameplay with very little replayability, is it really worth the price? For me, the answer was yeah. Overall, it's an enjoyable little experience with a lot of personality. Obviously, your mileage may certainly vary, but for what it's worth, its current Steam reviews do not.